social responsibility, as well as corporate citizenship, CSR and CSI. Here we go for some work from term 3 for you matrix. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. So here we are, final term for the matrix, term 3. We've made it this far, guys. I really hope that when you received your report cards this past week, that all went well and that you were impressed with your marks. If not, I encourage you not to lose hope, not to give up, and know that you still have this as your last chance for the prelims as well as the finals. And just never give up. Always believe in yourself, and just remember, sometimes life is going to give you stumbling blocks and hurdles, but it takes the courage within you to jump over them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Social responsibility and corporate citizenship. All right, so just a bit of an introduction. In grade 10, you were introduced to the meaning of socio-economic issues and the reason why they pose a challenge on businesses and their impact. Then in grade 11, we learned about the impact of the socio-economic issues on businesses and productivity of the business. In grade 12, we will now further elaborate on the meaning of social responsibility, its implication on the business, and the strategy of how to deal with socio-economic issues, and we will learn about the triple bottom line, corporate social responsibility, and corporate social investments. Before I go any further, I would just like to mention that I don't take any credit for the information given in this video today as well as in the slides. I've received this from the Western Cape Department of Education website, and you're more than welcome to go and get that information as well. I've linked it in my description down below as well as at the end of my video. There are resources there, all of them are free, and I think they are very helpful, and I would encourage you to make use of them, as there's lots of videos and there are also lots of activities with answers that you can go through to prepare yourself for the prelims and the finals coming up. Understanding social responsibility. Businesses have an implication towards all their stakeholders and also towards the community. They must maintain a balance between the economy and the environment and also consider the well-being of others. Businesses must always keep the laws and legal requirements of the government in mind during their operations. So for example, if they are businesses, they must consider the legal requirements on harmful emissions and dangerous substances in their processes and products. They must be careful not to exploit natural resources. Businesses must also be actively involved in the community and look after the environment. The meaning of social responsibility. In today's world, it is the responsibility of every citizen and organization to contribute towards the well-being of the community and the environment in which they live in. Businesses have the responsibility to balance their operations between economic development, the well-being of the community, and looking after the environment. Their responsibility can take the form of avoiding any actions that could cause harm towards the environment, example, exploiting natural resources. Implementing initiatives that can benefit the society. So with exploiting natural resources, I'm not too sure of what the name of the company is, but there are a lot of companies that print paper or produce paper that you can buy, reams and boxes of paper for printing. And I know that they have implemented for every tree they chop down, they plant about 3 or 5 more. So there's an example there for that one. A nice one to use for the essays for originality. I would just make sure, if I were you, just to Google the name of the company, just so you can add it in as well. The relationship between social responsibility and the triple bottom line. So I've got a diagram here on the right. So the triple bottom line, we're looking at economic, so like the money and wealth within a country, environmental, so that we're looking at our trees and our gold, as well as our coal and our oil. And then social are the people, are we looking after the people, and how are we giving back to communities? So, introduction to the triple bottom line. The triple bottom line suggests that businesses should commit to measuring their social and environmental impact in addition to their financial performance, rather than solely focusing on generating a profit. It can be broken down into three. As I mentioned, people, that's our social, profits, that's our economic, and the planet, which is environmental. So we need to make sure that we're looking at all three of these with social responsibility. That's why you'll see that there are initiatives, and there's the KFC Give 2 Rand for Hope initiative. I think McDonald's also has a similar one where you can also donate to feed children who are less fortunate. There are also charity drives, there are charity walks, and there's a lot that companies will do. That's why they'll just go to a nature reserve and plant trees and make sure that they document that, because that's how they're giving back to the environment. So the link between social responsibility and the triple bottom line. So we've got the three, as we mentioned: social, economic, and environmental. You can also call them people, profit, or planet. So let's look at people, social. Business or organizations should not harm or exploit people, their employees, customers, or the community. Businesses should engage and invest in sustainable community programs or projects that will benefit and uplift communities. Businesses should contribute to the well-being of all their stakeholders. Then profit, economic. The triple bottom line means that businesses should not only focus on their profit and charge high prices, but also invest in CSI projects. CSI stands for Corporate Social Investment. Businesses should not make a profit at the expense of the community. Okay, the CSI we are going to look at further in detail at the end of the video, alongside with CSR. So make sure that you stay tuned to stick around for that as well, because that's a really nice question that they can ask between the differences between the two. Then we've got planet or environmental. Businesses should not exhaust resources or harm the environment for production or to gain profit for themselves. They should support energy efficient or eco-friendly products and production methods. Alrighty, then we're looking at some examples with the triple bottom line strategies. This is very, very nice and very, very important, again, to make use of for the examples for originality in the essay. Alright, so Unilever aims to reuse 100% of plastic packaging by 2025. DHL aims to reach zero emission by 2050. Patagonia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, reuses old clothes. The Coca-Cola company plans to achieve a major recycling initiative by 2030. And Apple achieved 100% green energy. Ways in which a business project can contribute towards the the community. The business can make a charitable contribution to NGOs. So for example, how the Chefs That Care contributes towards the community within which they operate. The business can be involved in community education. For example, the Take a Child to the Workday initiative. That's by CELC. The business can employ members of the local community in their project for the community. So, for example, Granny's Green Nursing. Businesses can encourage their employees to participate in volunteering programs that are taking place in the local community. So, for example, Grand West social renovation programs. Socio-economic issues. Socio-economic issues are problems and challenges that emanate from certain aspects in the society and the economy. In grade 11, you have dealt with the impact of various socioeconomic issues on business operations. In grade 12, the focus will be on the following contemporary socioeconomic issues: HIV, poverty, and unemployment. All right, so strategies on dealing with each of these. Let's look at HIV first. Participate in the existing HIV/AIDS prevention programs implemented in the community. Hire or train counselors to provide counseling to infected and affected persons or employees. Develop counseling programs for infected employees and their relatives. Conduct workshops on HIV programs and support HIV campaigns. Roll out antiviral treatment programs for the infected employees. Encourage employees to join HIV and AIDS support groups. Develop and implement strategies to deal with stigma and discrimination. Support non-governmental organizations and community-based organizations on HIV and AIDS initiatives. Strategies on how to deal with unemployment. Provide skills development training within the community through learnership programs. Offer bursaries to the community and employees to improve their level of education. Create jobs for members of the community in the business. Conduct entrepreneurial programs that can promote self-employment. Support existing small businesses to grow with time and money, to enable them to create more employment opportunities. Use members of the community for implementing CSI projects in the community. Strategies on how to deal with poverty. Donate money and other food parcels to local NGOs. Invest in infrastructure and housing programs in the local area. Offer the best volunteering programs to identify and attract potential employees. Support poverty alleviation programs that are offered by the government. Invest in young starting businesses who can be a business competitor, buyer, or supplier. Ways in which businesses can contribute time and effort in improving the well-being of their employees and communities. So, they can pay fair wages or salaries to workers based on the nature of their work and the prevailing economic conditions in the market. Pay fair bonuses based on business earnings as acknowledgement for hard work and commitment. Provide recreational facilities for employees and encourage them to stay fit and healthy. Include safety, medical, and canteen facilities as additional benefits employees can enjoy. Also include benefits like housing, leave, and retirement packages. Start a nutritional program so that employees can enjoy one meal per day to keep them in a healthy condition. Provide transport to employees who unusually work long hours. Conduct team building sessions to improve the employees' morale. All right, then continuing. Businesses should aim to improve the general quality of life in their community. So, for example, by offering skills development courses and bursaries. Make sure that the product they supply does not harm consumers and or their environment. refrain from engaging in illegal or harmful practices such as employing children under the legal age or selling illegal substances. Exercise ethical, correct business practices, for example, not engaging in unethical advertising. Donate money and or time to community projects. Provide needed facilities for sports and recreational purposes to promote social cohesion and healthy activities. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, and corporate social investment, CSI. So we're going to look at these hand in hand, and then at the end of the video, we're going to look at a comparison between the two, because I think this is a very nice question, either in an essay or as a medium question to compare the differences, and the mark allocation can be as high as, I would say, 10 to 8, which means it's either going to be 5 facts each or 6 facts each. So in my opinion, this is a very important section. Definition or meaning of corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is the continuous commitment of a business to act ethically, contribute to the economic development, and positively affect its stakeholders. Then we're looking at the purpose of CSR. There are various reasons why businesses implement CSR programs. It can be one or a combination of the following below. Society expects of their contributions and they want to live up to society's expectations. So, for example, by looking after the well-being of the community. They want to comply with the expectations of the government and the law. So, for example, by not exploiting natural resources. The business can gain economic advantages, for example, by gaining credits for controlling carbon emissions. The business's policies should consider ethical issues. For example, they decide to cut on their emissions in the production process. Business operations address the triple bottom line through CSR programs to be listed on the JSE SRI. Okay, we have dealt with the JSE before, the Johannesburg Securities Exchange. If you've missed it, I do have a video on that because I know that that is a very important topic and a bit of a challenging topic for the matrics in grade 12. So do check it out. Then the components of CSR. The components of corporate social responsibility include the following aspects. Environmental. Businesses must take care of their environment by participating in environmental programs like recycling waste, reducing their carbon emissions, and so on. Ethical corporate social investments. The business is compelled to look after human rights like respect for employees, customers, and suppliers. For example, they must ensure good treatment of workers, safe products for consumers, and fair trade with suppliers. Health and safety. The business must ensure that the working environment is safe for all stakeholders. Continuing. Corporate governance. The business must always be accountable, transparent, and comply with the law as suggested by King IV's Code. Business ethics. Every business must integrate its core value like honesty, respect, and fairness into all its policies and practices. Employment equity. To comply with the laws, the business must have diversity, equity, and equality in the workplace as prescribed by the EEA and other acts, which is the Employment Equity Act. Another one I've done a video on, I'll make sure to link it above in case you missed it. Supply chain and distribution channel. Bad practices of business associates reflect negatively on the business. They must influence the entire supply chain to take part in good CSR practices. Customers. Customers consider the manner in which goods and services are produced by the business, in addition to the cost and quality. Customers are also concerned with the impact of the business's practices on the environment and the community. Community. A business must be in close contact with its community to know their real needs, issues, and risks before the business can develop CSR strategies for the community. Then the impact. The business has a responsibility to take part in CSR or CSI programs in order to gain or benefit thereof. But they must also take the challenges and problems of CSR and CSI into consideration before deciding how they can be involved in the community. All right, so the impact. We're looking at the positives, the advantages. CSI may attract experienced employees and increase the productivity of the business. The business may have a competitive advantage, resulting in good publicity in the media. CSI promotes customer loyalty, which may result in more sales. They can also use CSI as a marketing strategy to promote their products. CSI helps to attract investors when the business is included in the JSE SRI. Businesses gain tax advantages such as tax reduction or tax rebates. Then the negatives, the disadvantages. CSR programs could be taken for granted by the community, and customers may not buy the business's products. It is difficult for small or medium enterprises to implement CSR programs. Businesses are expected to draw up detailed reports, which can be time-consuming. Social involvement is funded by business profits, which could have been used to the benefit of customers and reduce prices. CSR activities distract business focus from its core business functions. Businesses find it difficult to adhere to legislation governing CSR. Now we're going to look at the impact of CSR and CSI on the community. I do apologize, that is my neighbor's dog barking. Unfortunately, it's out of my control. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Although CSR and CSI has many positives or advantages for the community, they do also present disadvantages and negatives. It is a responsibility of the business to ensure that the desired aims of CSR or CSI are filtered to the correct members of the community. So the advantages for the community. The welfare of the community will improve because issues that the community members face will be attended to. Skills development can take place, which in turn will increase the possibility of appointment of members of the community. Developmental programs which the business implements will improve the entrepreneurial skills for the communities. The provision for bursaries increases the level of education and enables the community to apply for jobs. Better education and recreational facilities are established in poor communities. Then the disadvantages, the negatives for the community. Businesses are not always equipped to address social problems. If the community members become too dependent on CSR programs, they may struggle to make use of initiatives made available to them. Businesses could be accused of discrimination if they don't manage the distribution of scarce resources well. Some businesses only participate in CSR initiatives to raise profits, and they do not care for the community in which they operate in. If CSR programs are not sustainable, they can harm the community. Unless a needs analysis is performed, the program may not suit the real needs of the community. Then looking at CSI. The meaning of CSI. Corporate social investments is the funds and or other assets from the business allocated to a project that aims to improve the standard of living of members for the community. CSI projects are external to the normal business activities of a company, and its intention should not be to directly increase the company's profits. These projects have a strong developmental approach and utilize company resources to benefit and uplift the communities. The purpose of CSI. Although the original aim of CSI was philanthropic, businesses realized that they could also benefit from CSI. Their reputation would improve, and the government and communities gradually expect more contributions from businesses towards CSI. It aims at contributing towards the sustainable development of its immediate communities. The law and the government require business to make CSI contributions. CSI projects reveal a positive business attitude towards the local community and help the community to develop. The CSI projects are long-term investments and must be sustainable. CSI is essential for South African context because there is a great need to uplift the standard of living of communities. So, CSI focus areas. CSI focus areas are common amongst many businesses. Businesses must consider the following focus areas when planning CSI initiatives. They must look at community, rural development, employees, and the environment. Examples of CSI projects. The corporate social project chosen by an organization will depend on the focus area of the business. However, the aim of the project must always be to improve the social and environmental conditions. Poverty alleviation by donations to local organizations. Being involved in conservation projects, for example, participating in recycling projects. Delivering services that the government is unable, so for example, building infrastructure. Investing in job creation projects for members of the community. Providing adult basic education, so for example, conducting reading classes for adults. Teaching entrepreneurial skills by conducting courses by young entrepreneurs. Sponsoring arts and culture programs, so for example, by sponsoring youth culture festivals. Establishing programs to promote early childhood development, so for example, developing a nursery for the children of their employees. Then the differences between CSR and CSI. Originally, CSR and CSI were used as synonyms, which meant that they were almost like one of the same. Okay, there is always a saying, same, but different. Okay, but now in new literature, it is seen as two separate concepts. CSR now refers to an organization's responsibility towards the community and the environment in which it operates. CSI, on the other hand, will aim to uplift the community in which the business operates. CSI can also be seen as a subcomponent of CSR. Then, here's the table I was talking about, the comparisons side by side. So we've got CSR on the left and CSI on the right. So CSR, the intention is to change the business practices. The focus is on increasing the image and profits. Ensure that all internal CSI policies or practices include stakeholders' interests, environmental issues. They're often intended as a marketing initiative. Projects are usually linked to the business. So, for example, a manufacturing business offering to train the unemployed. Then CSI, actively committing money and resources to uplift the community. The focus is on the upliftment of the community without a return on investment. Ensure that CSI projects are relevant to the needs of the communities, intended to benefit and uplift communities through social development. Projects are external to the business and have a strong developmental approach. And here is just a recap, nice little mind maps to jot down. So you're more than welcome to pause the video at this stage. Here is just 3 mind maps of 3 of the strategies to deal with. We've got HIV and AIDS, poverty, and unemployment. So just pause the video, you can check those out. It's nice to jot down, and I like working off mind maps on a lot of color, and I know a lot of students do too, so I do think this is very helpful. And so we've reached the end of the video. Here are the resources that I spoke of in the beginning that I've made use of for the creation of the slides for the content for this video. As mentioned, I've also put them in my description below. I want to thank you all for joining and watching today's video. I really appreciate the support. Well, the holidays are over and we're back to the drawing board and we're back in the grind. I really hope that this is a good term for you matrics, and I hope that you get the most out of this term. May you make wonderful friendships, wonderful memories, and don't forget your teaching and your learning. Make the most of it, and I hope that my videos have been helping. If there are videos that you are looking forward to and videos that you would like to see, please do let me know and I'll add them to the suggestions. And as you guys have seen, a lot of the suggestions have been added to the schedule and uploaded. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're a student who's studying business studies for grades 10, 11, or grade 12. I hope you guys have an awesome week. Bye for now.